Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are catching some action here. I don't know if I want to say finally, but I don't know if I'm strong enough not to say finally. We are in S2-1. This group is comprised of kingdoms 1 through 10, and then 22 through 26, right? So you have, what, 15 kingdoms that are here in this one Season 2 KVK. Now bear in mind, the groups that are here, some of them are on their 4th season, some of them are on their 3rd season. Bear in mind, this is unofficially because there were some seasons early during beta that had occurred, right? So these are some of the longest standing kingdoms that have been in, obviously the first 10, along with the ones there from 22-26. So we're here in Zone 4, where the Frost Dragon is, and we have TM, we have /TM hyphen or hyphen TM hyphen, we have TM02, and then I don't know where TA is where overall. However, we have HOWL and RK0 on the other side, right? And we're seeing, now bear in mind, the fighting started last night, I believe a little about 2 hours after reset, so it would have been about 10 p.m. Eastern time. So I think that would have been 2 UTC last night. So fighting's been going on right now for what, 16, almost 17 hours thus far, and we're getting again, from what it looks like, and I don't know how much pushing has really been done at this point, because I think they're kind of just getting to a stage right now where flags are starting to connect from one another. However, let's take a look real quick at some of the big players here in the match, right? So if we're kind of looking at some of the top of the boards, and then we'll show you here power first. So you have TM, TA, and TM02 going up against RK0, HOWL, right? So you can see here RK0, HOWL are close to TA specifically. Again, one of them, are both of them are a little bit stronger than TM02, but a little bit weaker than TM themselves. Right, and then you have TR. I'm assuming they're with them. I think PHUB, VAPE, KONS, they might be on the other side. We'll take a look and see kind of how that's playing out as well for the actual positioning of flags. And then if we look at just some of the top of the boards, you can see here you got HOWL's Asura, right, who's kind of there. I mean, again, I would imagine can still keep up with Emil, especially for those that are kind of at that 60, 70 plus range where, or I should say probably that 50, 60 plus range, right, where you're kind of already at T5, and then it's just a matter of you having enough troops trained. You got Duz, right around there with Charles for TM. Then you have a little bit of a gap here, right? So these next 4 slots, right? So you're looking at 6 out of the top 8 slots kind of going to one Union side. PHUB, HOWL. Right now you're kind of looking at a 4-6 split here for the top 10. TR 1 and 1. HOWL's there. TM, TM09, RK, right? TM, HOWL. So I mean, again, you're seeing some here, right? I don't think it's, we'd have to look at the top 100. I'll probably take a look at that once I really hone in on what the hard matchups are. Let me see if we can figure that out. Hey, all. What are the matchups for Zone 4 for FAPE? Okay, there we go. Hopefully we'll get a response here in a sec, and then we'll be able to write that down and figure this one out. So here we go with TM, right, trying to do the build here on a flag. Let's see here if they already have another. So no, and I wonder if this is a choke point, because it looks like it is. However, it also looks like they're, oh, I see here. So they're trying to get that top control. Looks like we have another flag that's going here for TM. Frost Giant. Oh, wow. So Frost Giant was thrown in there. Raven's Beastmaster. Looks like they're building around right now. And again, here we go. So Earth and that Royal Punishment coming out there from Sneaker Turtle HOWL. Nice. Shadow Games. Dude, that was a great Shadow Games coming out there. I think that was from 7 or was that Master Percy? I mean, that was -3 times perp there at 10k plus for that damage. Not bad. Terrifying Inferno getting thrown down. You see just massive negative purple. That Burst Strike getting thrown down again. Multiple AoE. Secondary AoE here over there by Gandorf and Nyx. Again, not bad. Divine Mercy gets some heals out there for that Tear of Arbin. Another Burst Strike getting thrown down right there. Ooh, looks like just missing target. RK0, HOWL pushing out. Now, in these situations, right, we're going to see if we can... Oh, do I have to update this for my really awesome pen thing that I have? Oh, I do, huh? Here we go. Download. I have to download a new version. Okay. Let's see if we can draw in a moment. I mean, I probably still could get away with it. Let's see here. So let's do this. Let's go right window. I'm going to full screen this bad boy so you guys can kind of see. So this actually is okay. This isn't too bad, so to speak. So if we're drawing, let's kind of give you an example here. So these are your two sides, right? You got here, and where's my colors? Bump, bump, and then we got blue, right? So here's your two sides. Typically, you would want to be trying to put someone over here, 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 even all the way over to the tree line, right? And then you're kind of arcing. So think of it like that. You're kind of doing an arc, and that's kind of how you want to overlay your people there. Or sorry, I shouldn't say your people, but when it comes to trying to put yourself in a position where you are going to be the best, or give your positioning the best chance to really do well out there on the field, that's kind of how you're wanting to set up, right? The one thing you don't want to happen is kind of what you're seeing now here, where it looks pretty bunched up, right? And then you just have a bunch of people that are all in here, right? You're kind of forming pockets, right, so to speak here. Here's another example of a pocket. Here's another pocket, right? Usually you want them kind of going across, right? That's really the ideal sense for what you'd want to be trying to see, or aiming to see out there on the field. Now, obviously, some people can argue it's easier said than done. However, we've seen moments of this, right? Even just before, I think HOWL and RK0 were doing a pretty good job of stretching the line here, or you could say the choke point width, and even TM and TM02 for a moment there actually looked like it was okay, but that's really the big thing, right? Also then thinking about how are you going to line up your units, right? Flying units, to me, really have such a great opportunity, when it comes to engaging in a fight. And I say that because, for example, you could be, if you're RK3, RK0, and HOWL, you could be sending flying units over here, right, and flanking. As an example. Oops, hang on, let's go back to where I was. Is that too much? Possibly. There we go. So, right, the idea being is that you really want to put yourself in a position to where, tactically, on the map, you can really be taking advantage of, not only because you have good positioning and good structure, but also when you're then starting to engage in fights. So examples here would be, if you're getting pushed, right, you should have a line here to where you're able to pick off the overextenders, right? So in this case, it'd be Sunset. If you're over here, right, here's a good example, right? TM02 picking apart Thunder Posse, right, or J-Day. That's something that, again, right, kind of overextending a little bit, something you'd want to be paying attention to, always making sure, right, that's the thing, it's basically a chess match 24/7 when you're out in the open field. So a lot of it is, right, taking the least amount of attack. Shout out to our boy Meower there, right, but those are the types of things that you're really looking for, right, trying to put yourselves in good positions. And this isn't that bad. Like, you can see they're kind of moving together here on the TM side. HOWL and RK0, right, again, I don't know if I would say kind of going this far back, so to speak. Oh, shout out to our boy Ghost. Right, in this situation, sometimes regathering, right, when you're withdrawing and you're pulling back, finding a staging area to where you can fall back to and then re-engaging on your terms is going to be really important, right? You don't really want to be kind of compartmentalized or isolated. That's kind of what you're seeing right now, right? So you saw, what, one or two people got caught over there. This group right here is kind of getting caught. A lot of these players are pulling back just more than they need to. And you still have good numbers advantage. Think about all these people right here that are leaving, and these guys, that's more than this little group that's overextending right now, right? This is why it's important when you're fighting in real time to issue out instructions ahead of time, right? This is where you would do things like sending an alliance mail. You would send DMs to players. If you need to make a YouTube video that kind of explains how you're going to act and react in war, along with, hey, if there's certain people that are on the field, these individuals are going to be the ones using reactions or emojis. Or text emotes as an example, so that way they can be providing directions in real time on what to do. This is, of course, in the absence of, or you could even argue in addition to, as a minimum, for when you're not able to get everyone into a voice call, right? This is something that players have to be very cognizant of, right? The reason why we often talk about how the level of strategical intellect and tactical awareness is so much higher in a game like COD, in my opinion, than something like Rise of Kingdoms, because there's just a lot more you have to consider with the way that the open field plays out, with the artifact skill usage, with the flying units, with the opportunities to do what we would consider just to be, more valuable, and not just that, but even for something like Infinity Kingdom, State of Survival, Lords Mobile, etc., others, right, where they don't really have the foundation for the level of PvP, right, that COD does, because they kind of built it that way from the ground up. And that's why I really love what COD allows, the potential, the ceiling that is there in COD that I just haven't really seen in other games. And here's another good example, right, where you got Hulkston coming down here, right, fighting Asura, right, Asura number 2 player right now. I think Hulkston's in the top 20 or top 30, right, kind of branching out, picking off some units here one by one, right, just trying to do some damage. The moment that he starts feeling like, hey, now the numbers are not in my favor, pulling back, right, that's a great heads-up play there from Hulk. Then you end up going up here on the north side, TM02, still doing work here. In that regard, pushing all the players off of the tower for build. Now you end up having these players. This is why, excuse me, man, someone's gonna give me a yawn counter in the comments. I have no doubt in my mind, and I got good sleep too. That's the wild thing. Oh, I wish I had some cold water near me. Sometimes that helps. Anyways, one of the things that we often talk about is you are in a pure war zone, then you have to approach sending units to flags one of two ways. Either one, everyone's online, so you're able to engage and disengage from a flag build at any point in time. Or two, you're sending units to build the flag that you just absolutely don't care that they're going to die. And then you kind of have two ways to approach it. You're either going to send pure builders, or better yet, you're going to send units that you don't care about dying. So, maybe it's a unit that you just don't main, right? So, like, let's say all you do is focus on infantry. Well, you can just send cav to go and build it, right? Obviously, you probably don't want to send too much of your workhorses, right? Unless you have some that you can give. But most of the time, if you're building everything, you're usually not focusing on every single unit or every unit type with your legions out there, right? We're really starting to see a lot more specialists out in the field, right? Again, shout out to someone like Pervy Sage, who focuses pretty heavily on cav, right? So he just runs full cav marches. And there's others as well that do that. There's some that focus on pure infantry, some that focus on pure flying. Obviously, we're not really at a stage yet where you can do that fully, right? Or we should say fully invest in the ideal sense. And that's because there's not 10 legendary cavalry heroes, right, that you can run for a full 5 cav legion or a full 5 cav march, right? Same thing with infantry, same thing with mage, with archers. So, again, and flying. Right, so this is something that you have to consider. Obviously, we'll eventually be able to get to that point over time, but that's really where I believe COD is going to be going in that type of direction, where you're really going to be having those moments where you're going to have more kind of role types and specialty-based players, more so than kind of running all-rounders. And that's just because, again, with the way the open field is playing out, it makes more sense to maximize the potential for how well you can micromanage units out on the field, or micro, through good positioning and having good tactical awareness. Because if you're focusing on moving around 5 units of the same type, it's easier where you're not having to kind of over position units where it's, you have to constantly keep worrying about your infantry needs to be here, cav should be over here, archers, and then mages, right? If you're just kind of focusing on one unit type, it makes it a lot easier for you to move those around compared to having 4 or 5 different units. Or troop types, we should say. Now, in this case, right, again, TM02, this isn't too bad here, right, where you're getting a little spread. I do like to see that. I'd like to see a little bit more, right, if we can kind of go all the way down here maybe, and then it's kind of arching our way up, right? That could be one way to do it, where, as an example, right, you do something like this. If you're here, you're kind of like that, right? You're kind of forming this crescent moon. And then that way, you're keeping at max distance, right, from everything at the same time. And then this is kind of the idea that you would have, right? So it's Boss. Everyone's like, Boss, you're having too much fun with the pen. Calm down, I know. So here we go, the RK0 getting a little bit. Now, usually when you're on the defensive, one of the things we often talk about is trying to reform your ranks, right? What this means is that, sure, if you can apply some pressure here and there where you're not taking extreme losses while you're waiting for reinforcements to come, no problem there. Otherwise, form staging areas, right, where you say, hey, we're all going to meet up here, or we're going to meet up here, and we'll just try and get as many people as we can there, and then we'll engage. If they start fighting, right, then the idea is, okay, we'll, still should be spreading out at that point, and not just kind of, hurtling in a ball if they're coming to you. But it's, and I'm not saying your staging area has to be small. Your staging area could be a line, right, as an example. It doesn't necessarily have to be a circle. And then you're just kind of reforming your ranks, right? You're relining up. Think of, the cavalry in Lord of the Rings Return of the King, right, where they get done with an engagement, they're reforming their ranks, right there in one of the final big battle scenes, and that's what they're doing with their cav right before they go and attack the elephants, so to speak, right? So kind of think of it like that. I'm really curious too as well if we're seeing other fights or other. Let's just go look. I'm just curious. So right now we have TM02, TM, and then on this side we have RK0, we have HOWL, and then we have PHUB, VAPE, Holy. Let's just see where we're at. That looks like it, right? Because then you have those two, and then who's green? And then you got TA and TR. Oh, interesting. So let's see what they're doing. I'm really curious. Are we still building out this way? So they're not really building anything, huh? Okay. So you got one that's building. I wonder what these guys are. Are they fighting? Oh, wow. Oh, dude, so here, look at this, man. This is, look, we got a second fight down here that we I don't know if we missed this. Oh, did someone reply to me already? I bet you they did. I wasn't even paying attention. No, it's okay. I mean, we're pretty much figuring it out. So, interesting. So you got PHUB, VAPE. Oh, wow. Wow, a little bit overextension here. Wow, that's a lot that they have coming. Dang, that is not bad. Jimmy Gunn, man. PHUB and VAPE. Dude, they're just going in right now. Just no care in the world. Absolutely just going hard in the paint. I wonder. Yeah, oh, wow. Are they going to try and make a play for going up the ramp? I mean, this isn't bad. They're catching some people not paying attention. So, not bad here. Oh, wow. Some decent focus firing there. If that was the case. That actually wasn't bad. I don't know where the dead going. Was that Van Devil there who's running away? This actually isn't bad. This is really kind of in favor of PHUB and VAPE right now because there's no one up here that's applying pressure on the ramp. So they're basically getting this 20-25 on 3 type of situation. That's really going to go in favor of them. And I mean, look how quick they made kind of quick work of that. Joe Cat's up there by himself. Now this is the decision you have to make. If you're going to go up the ramp, you go up the ramp, right? This is one of the things we've often talked about when you're doing a ramp fight. If you're going to do the poke battle, then you have to use mages, flying, and potentially some archers, and you have to hit them from the sides while you're applying kind of max distance pressure on the ramp, right? So for example, even Holy's getting in here. And this is what I'm talking about, right? So here you go. You got two people, PHUB and Holy. In this case, though, honestly, I probably would run the flying over here, especially if you have more than 2 units. I would run them over here, start attacking Matad there, 1 unit at a time. Again, this is what you don't want to do. You don't just want to sit on the ramp. Why? Because you're creating a thin choke point that's basically a kill box for you. This is where they can focus all of their artifact skills, all of their AoE, Legion damage on you. So this is why we talk about if you're going to go up the ramp, you push up the ramp with everyone. You try to discombobulate, and then you start trying to split them up, right? It sucks too as well because when you're sending, again, Jimmy's doing good here. Sending the you got Madeline, Eliana. There was that was Jimmy and then Penny, right? But again, right, sending their tanks up, they're doing what they need to do. In this case, when it comes to TR and TA, I actually would like to see better positioning, right? It kind of feels like all we're kind of doing is just having this big mosh pit, so to speak, right? So you're kind of seeing them look at this. It's all kind of here. right? And then they're just like funneling in here like it's a gun, right? Or it's a tunnel. Instead, right, what we really should be seeing is something like this, where they're arching, right? You're kind of curving it out like this, so to speak. And then that way you can fight, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then you're able, and then what you're at that point, you're basically, this is your kill box, right? This is kind of what this oval right here. This is where you want to be doing that. But the whole point of arcing your positioning is so you can always stay at max distance, right? So max distance here, max distance here, max distance here, here and there, right? That's kind of what you're really aiming for in that sense. So yeah, this is unfortunate because, again, if PHUB and VAPE kind of lose this initial engagement, I want to point out they actually had a better opportunity to have a better overall fight at the top of the ramp if they just pushed everyone up. Because that's what they were already doing by committing a certain amount. You need to commit everyone at that point. Otherwise, you play the poke game until you whittle them down enough, and then you wait for an opportunity to push up the ramp. Yeah, kind of unfortunate. Then you have some players that are just kind of out here just hanging out. Still getting some reinforcements, so that's not too bad. Don't really know where anyone else is going to be coming from at that point. And this isn't bad, right? This is actually not bad. Where you see Atlantis doing over here with Kagan, right? They're kind of spreading out a little bit, hitting them from the side. Again, even up here, right? We got Sirius Black who's doing a little bit of that. I would probably pull back a little bit if I was Sirius Black, unless they're specifically trying to ignore the Maelstrom here, who looks like is running. Looks like Lilia Veln here. I mean, that to me seems like the easiest taking, again, because you're trying to attack the unit that's overextending, not overextending yourself, right? And now, because, look, you have some units that are pushing back, now all of a sudden Sirius Black is the one who's overextending, right? Where at one moment, it felt like, okay, Sirius Black was in an okay position on that side, adjacent or opposite where Atlantis and Kagan were, but now all of a sudden, right, you're kind of succumbing to needing to pay attention to good positioning, because if your teammates are falling back and you're still stuck out there, now you're going to end up taking the brunt of the fight, or brunt of the damage, we could say. I mean, again, you could tell here TR still having what looks to appear to be more units than what PHUB and VAPE have. And again, I want to point out, because of the fact, and this actually isn't bad, look, you have a little bit of an arc here that was kind of starting to be formed. Boru's going in just immediately. Look at that heavy negative red damage there from the Bakshi. What was it? Hosk Kinara? And that might have been... There we go, Bakshi Veln. That was there. And yeah, man, I mean, again, they have numbers on them now, right? And a lot of it started from that early engagement. That could have been... I don't know if we could say as much as it could have went PHUB VAPE's way. And because I think there was a few Holy players there too as well. But the opportunity to have a shot, to have a chance at maybe breaking even, really needed to happen, like we were talking about there in the very beginning when they had the numbers. I also would have waited for some more numbers before they even did the engagement, because they still had some more players that were reinforcing, on top of maybe attacking the stragglers first without pushing up as much on the ramp as they did early on, because they started taking some damage from some of the players that were at the top of the ramp. Instead, hang out at the bottom of the ramp, pick them off one by one, then, which allows for you to have more reinforcements come up, and then you make the push up the ramp, right? That, to me, I think would have been a better overall play. But again, this is why if you don't have every single player in voice, you have to rely on providing instructions for, this is how we play out a ramp situation, this is how we play out a bridge situation, this is how we play out if they're pushing us and we have a numbers disadvantage, right? These are things that you would want to prep with mails ahead of time, and potentially some Discord announcements, so that way everyone can have an idea on kind of do's and don'ts, good practices, poor practices, so that way they can be more knowledgeable when out there in the field and fighting. And then, of course, taking advantage of as many people as you can get in voice when fights are going on, right? Like, there's nothing more sexy than seeing 50, 100, 150, 200 people in a voice call, right? Going over, or just listening in and kind of, figuring out where do I need to go, right? Taking kind of directions and instructions. And now you're seeing in a situation where it makes a lot of sense. Ooh, gosh, that Royal Punishment, that was sick. Their counter Royal Punishment. Shadow Game is coming out, I think, negative 10k, but only getting one person, right? Missing the other two that it could have got for up to 3 damage. Now, TR pushing out, applying some pressure here on VAPE and PHUB. And this is where, in this moment, you find your staging area, right? So if they're pushing back, then push back and say, okay, guys, look, we're pushing back. We already know where our staging, our fallback staging areas are that we're going to be attempting to do to re-engage, right? Which basically means we're going to counterattack, right? Because remember, if the attacking side isn't as disciplined in everyone moving together in unison, moving along the same lines, then what you do is you fall back. I'd say maybe fall back here. Right around here where you got some holy units, let them keep, and if they keep pushing, then you start counter pushing at that point, right? That's what I would do, right? And again, even these units, I would still push back. This is just too much here. Even if it feels like you've kind of stagnated a little bit of their push for a moment. I mean, to be fair, this is what TA and TR should have done, right? Some of them paused for a moment, but they didn't really need to. So this, I think, was probably just the wrong heads-up play there from the VAPE and some of the PHUB people, is trying to kind of hang out and stop. Instead, keep falling back, wait till you have about 20, 30 units or so, and then you do the counter push, right? And now you have numbers advantages. These are things that, again, and I say this as always with respect, is that, and this is because I know, I have no doubt in my mind on the quality level of PvP, high-level PvP, that we can be seeing in the open field. The opportunity is there. And that, in the same breath, is not me saying that this is low-level PvP. It's just to say that the opportunity for where we can see the ceiling go is so high. And that's why I'm always excited when I watch PvP being played, because there are moments where I will see flickers and shimmers of that. And that is what gets me excited, along with just enjoying watching PvP in COD. It is to me so, I don't want to say appetizing, but it's very nourishing, let's say. It's very fulfilling to watch pure open field PvP and being able to kind of pay attention and point out some of the opportunities, right, that we can see. And I'm actually happy that we haven't lagged out yet, which is great, shockingly, right? But again, I mean, we don't have hundreds of people out in the field, but still, and I hope that they do try to work on that for future updates, version updates on the PC client, because again, like we've talked about, being able to watch 100, 150, 200 plus players fighting it out just performs better on a mobile device or tablet than it does on the PC client thus far. So man, dude, they are getting pushed back. Oh gosh, there we go. I think we saved it. Partly. Here we go. So let's see here, right? So now you can see kind of getting pushed back to their flags. This is going to be interesting with how far they push here, right? Because on one side you got Holy, who's doing some building. We have VAPE, who's doing some building. And they got a lot of people there, but 49 minutes to go. And then we have, I think this is PHUB. So PHUB's doing their building. They got, I mean, again, they have a minute to go. And wow, dude, they are coming all the way in. Right now, this is about to be some yum-yum sauce right now. I don't know if anyone here likes yum-yum sauce. It's absolutely fantastic. Please let me know in the comments if you do as well. It's a national treasure. So yeah, man, dude, wow. So they're pushing in. So this would have been the other opportunity. Some people are already leaving, but this would have been the opportunity as well here for VAPE, PHUB, Holy, to say, look, okay, if they're going to keep pushing, the next best play is to just, again, if we're not going to have kind of midpoint or other kind of forward operating areas where we can kind of have a staging area, right, or a counter attack point, then we just need to pull all the way back in front of our flag. So hopefully they're going to be able to make something happen, because again, they are knocking on the door right now of what I'm sure is some juicy merits right now. And you can see here Kalana going in. We got Pepe, Venom, Morgan coming in as well. We got Lalotai. Yeah, Realm of Monsters. My guy. Love it. I love it. Yeah, because it requires human sacrifice. Just kidding. Anyone who enjoys fantastic Disney quotes, yes, I totally need to be coming out with some more. I watch too many Disney movies with all my kids, so. But I love it. I'm young at heart. But now you're seeing the situation, man. TA coming in hard with TR and just racking up those merit points right now on the flag. And you can see, right, some people moving away. And again, I don't know what their peak times are at the moment, right? And I don't know how much coordination is happening between alliances. But this to me seemed as though it could have been a good opportunity for PHUB, VAPE, maybe some players from Holy as well, to again form that. Like if you know they're pushing you, and they're not letting up, you almost have to be prepared ahead of time to say, look, if they keep pushing, we will just fall back in front of the flag and we'll counterattack from there, right? Because you have to think about, if they're attacking you on your flag, your replenishment times for legions and troops are going to be faster than theirs will be. Why? Because they have a farther walk than you do, which means that if you are able to counterattack them and eventually gain numbers advantage, it's going to take them that much longer to replenish their forces because you don't have to walk as far to replenish your troops as they do theirs, right? So there are some advantages to if you cannot hold a position on a forward operating area or a forward base or a forward attack or PvP point, then falling back to where you can kind of regain some advantage is actually good as well, right? You just kind of have to look at what the pros and cons are. I want to point this out though, right? TA and TR are just going in right now. And to be fair, this I think is the right play as far as them going in and attacking and pushing the units off of the PHUB tower. Now this is kind of where you have to make a heads-up call on, are you going to keep attacking? Because obviously they're going to start losing more units here. You could see some of them going a little bit lower. I don't know how much replenishment we're getting right now. So you got a few units that are coming. Okay, so not bad. Is it just me? Are they just chilling this vape unit here? Is there like a bug or something where they cannot attack this unit? What is happening here? This is weird. Are they ignoring it? Excuse me. So, unit moves. That's just weird. Maybe they're not attacking the unit for some unknown reason? To be honest, I am just not sure on this one. What we gotta do? We gotta get a screenshot. Oh, everyone's looking at how I get screenshots now. Cool. You know what I wish you could do? I wish you could remove the interface here. Like, just either remove the entire interface or just leave the chat. I wish you could, like, toggle the things that you want to keep on and off. Or just be able to toggle everything off but keep the chat. You know, maybe they come out with, like, war interfaces or something like that. That could be really cool as well. Man, we are at almost, what, 33 minutes? We're at 33, almost 33 minutes of greatness here. Okay, let's go back. I want to see the other fight. So we know one fight is there and another fight's here. Are they still fighting? Ooh, let's see what's happening here. Looks like some action we got going on. Dang, how RK0 doing a little bit of some push-up here right now. So this is the thing. If you're... Okay, so... And I love seeing different types of battlefield moments. In this type of a particular situation, I would not focus the builders. Instead, I'd focus the people who are doing the PvP. Right? Attack those units and then work on the builders, right? And the squishies. There's our boy Dozzers. Looks like how trying to pick up some stragglers here. Yeah, looks like trying to get that build off. TM still has a little time here on that 17 minutes for the flag. Yeah, we'll have to see. Dang, that seemed like that might have been pretty deep there. Oh, I wonder if they ran a rally and just basically snuck behind. And this isn't bad. You're kind of seeing this arc here. I mean, not arc, but just a line, which isn't bad, right? Something that we often talk about. You know, we would like to see a little bit more because I think it just presents more opportunities when you're spreading out. You're taking less overall AoE damage, and then you have the opportunity to inflict more AoE damage. So, on top of, you also force your opponents to kind of have to pick and choose. You know, what sides do they want to focus on? Are they just going to attack everyone? Are they going to attack specific units? Right, I think there's some pros and cons to that when you're applying something like kind of a branch out method. How RK0 withdrawing a little bit here. TM02, TM applying some more additional pressure. Looks like for the most part they might even just be aiming to leave the flag up. So maybe they'll just try and play a little bit of kind of box defense, so to speak, around the flag, especially if they don't plan to kind of go hard and push up too heavily. Man, okay, we're at 35 minutes now, fam. Man, I really want to keep watching more gameplay. This has been great, though, so far. I think I'm going to stop it here. I really want to keep going, but, man, I'm almost at 35 minutes, and, I mean, this has been pretty awesome to see the fights that are happening so far. Let's see if we can get another screenshot. Bam. And so I'm going to go ahead. We'll stop it here in a sec. Let me know what you guys think. Have you been enjoying the fighting happening here in S2-1? What are your thoughts on, now that we kind of know what those matchups are effectively, right? Where we have the TM, we got TA, we got TM02 and TR, right? So they're going up against, I mean, I don't know where KONS is, if they're like hard in it, but right now it's essentially what a 5v4, because you have those four, and then you got RK0, HOWL, you got PHUB and VAPE and Holy, right? So you got kind of a 4v5 here that's happening. If KONS joins, it'd be 4v6 at that point. Don't obviously know what some of the other alliances are doing. Let's look at merits real quick, just so we can kind of see where we're at. So you got TM, top RK0 putting up big numbers, though. TA a little bit above HOWL. HOWL still putting up great, respectable numbers. TM02. PHUB putting up good numbers. VAPE, good numbers. TR, then you got Holy there. So, again, that kind of shows you, right, your top 9 alliances doing the most. But KONS, GNR, right, doing decent. So, I would imagine probably your top 8 is going to be the big ones in that 4v5. Let's look at, we already looked at alliance power. Let's look at some personal merits. Who's been doing, oh, wow. So you got Ghost there at the top, number 1 at over 15 mil merits. Charles putting in work. Duz is there. Immortal's there. Wow. You got 9 players with over 10 million personal merits so far. Let's look at the top 200 real quick. I'm just curious what their number's at. So they're almost at 2.9 million merits for the top 200 people that have been fighting. That's a lot. And let's look at 200 power. Where are they right now? So, I mean, you got to look at, right, T5, you're probably somewhere around here, right? So you got, what, almost 115, 116 people that most likely have at least one T5 unlocked. I mean, 38.5, 38.6 mil for the top 200. I mean, that's not bad, right? Let's look at Castle 25s. They have to have 200 people that are at Castle 25s. I'd be shocked if they didn't. They do. my coach's emails. All right. Guys, that is going to do it for me. Again, this has been an absolute pleasure. And again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. How has the fighting been? Do you want to give any context for some of the war, some of the fighting that's been happening too as well, just for kind of how things have been going? Is there an idea there on what you have, or maybe what you like to see, what you've been applying in some of your fights versus kind of what we've been seeing in theirs? I know we didn't really talk about too much for Legion or hero compositions, but always something that is cool to see here and there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That is going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.